Perspectives by G.H. Paulson. The stories and poems in this book are original writings. They were written to create a unique birthday present for Jaimie Paulson on her 9th birthday, May 22nd, 1990. Read for you by Jaimie Paulson. As a grown-up. Perspective. The interrelation in which a subject or its parts are mentally viewed. 3 squirrels. While gazing through my window from the comfort of my chair, I watched 3 squirrels in a tree high up in the air. They darted left, darted right, playing tag on skinny branches. I wondered if they thought at all about taking risky chances. An infinite problem. Once upon a time, in the distant future, on the planet Zard, there was a very important conversation taking place between Jondrek, the leader of Zard, and Vishan, his most trusted official. Jondrek, I am afraid we are going to have to find a new planet for all our people to live on. Why do you say that, Vishan? We have studied the course of the great comet closely, and next year it will pass perilously close to Zard. We can't risk the chance of a collision. But we are the planet of an infinite number of people. Where could we possibly go? The wise man has told us of a distant planet where there is a hotel with an infinite number of rooms. We will stay there temporarily while our explorers search the universe for a safe planet to live on. Good. Travel to this planet tomorrow and tell the hotel we are coming. The next day, Vishan's transporter traveled through space at the speed of light towards the planet with the hotel of infinite rooms. When he arrived, he was startled by the large sign that flashed on and off. No vacancy. No vacancy. No vacancy. He checked his maps again. He was sure this was the hotel of infinite rooms. How could there possibly be no empty rooms? He ran frantically to the main office and shouted at the desk clerk. There must be a mistake. I was told you had an infinite number of rooms. We do, sir, the clerk replied, and every one has a person in it. But how could that be? Said Vishan. Infinity doesn't stop. There's no end to infinity. No matter how many rooms you think you have, there can be one more, and one more than that. And more than that. You must have empty rooms. I'm sorry, sir. We already have an infinite number of guests. For every new room, there is a new person. There are no empty rooms. Saddened, disappointed, and worried about the fate of his planet, Vishan headed back to Zard. When he arrived, he went straight to the wise man and told him what happened. The wise man said nothing, but leaned back in his chair and began to tug on his beard. After doing this for several minutes, he motioned for Vishan to lean forward, and he whispered in Vishan's ear. Vishan smiled, said thank you, and ran back to his ship. Let's go! He yelled to his crew. We're bringing our people to the Hotel of Infinite Rooms. But every room is full, his crew said simultaneously. Don't worry, said Vishan. The wise man gave me a solution. Vishan and his crew began flying to all the communication stations on his planet and announced to the infinite number of people that a temporary home had been found. Everyone was instructed to pack their belongings and load up their spaceships for an immediate flight. In a very short time, space was lit up for an infinite number of miles, from the lights of the infinite number of spaceships, carrying the infinite number of people to their temporary new home. Upon arrival, Vishan parked near the office. The infinite number of his fellow Zardians hovered above in their spaceships, waiting for their rooms. "I'm sorry," the desk clerk said. "I told you we are full. Every room has a person in it. You all have to go home." Vishan smiled and said, "Wait, I have a plan. Would you let me try?" The desk clerk took a deep breath, rolled his eyes up in his head, and said, "Well, this is ridiculous. To think you have a plan to fit an infinite number of people into an infinite number of rooms that are already occupied. But I could use a good laugh. So tell me, what is your foolish plan?" Vishan went to his spaceship and turned up the loudspeaker as high as it would go. "Attention all room guests," he yelled. "Please take your belongings and step out of your rooms for a moment." Slowly, one by one, every door opened, and every guest stepped outside carrying a bag or suitcase. Now, every room was empty. Vishan went to his loudspeaker again. "Attention all guests," he announced. "Please take your belongings and step back into the odd-numbered rooms only." Slowly, one by one, the guests disappeared into the rooms numbered 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, etc., on to infinity, and closed the doors behind them. Vishan then turned to the desk clerk and said, "Excuse me, sir. I'd like to rent an infinite number of even-numbered rooms." "Yes, sir," said the amazed desk clerk. "Right away, sir." Vishan looked up toward the wise man's spaceship hovering above and shouted, "Thank you for being so infinitely wise." Some kids want to be different, so they cut holes in their clothes. They spray their hair till it stands up straight and put earrings in their nose. And then they stand by a candy store and make up cool nicknames and stand around, all differently the same. What do I look like? There was a place I heard of where no one saw their face. Pictures were unheard of in this very different place. Mirrors were a mystery, and cameras not designed, and reflective things like lakes and streams were awfully hard to find. And all the men were handsome, and all the women pretty, and all because they thought so, in this what do I look like city. Who designs the way you walk? Whose words come out when you talk? Who's at fault when things go wrong? Who makes your thoughts weak or strong? Whose day is sad and who's to blame? Who's having fun? Who chose the game? Who's the heart of who you are? Who stops now? Who takes you far? Who decides what you can be? You. Could it be? Could it be? Anything. It was really strange. I was in the living room, lazily laying on some couch cushions that I put on the floor. I was real bored and was thinking how there was nothing to do when I heard a voice say, "Excuse me." I looked up and saw a shadowy silhouette of a person floating in front of me. I was really scared and pushed myself backwards along the floor until I slammed into the wall. The voice said, "Don't be bored. You can do anything." And then the shape disappeared. At first, I sat there, terrified, wondering what had just happened. Then I started to try to figure out what the trick was. I expected my brother to run in and say, "Did I scare you?" But he never came in. Then I started to think I fell asleep on the cushions and was dreaming. But I knew I was awake now, and my memory of what I saw was so clear. I was sure it couldn't have been a dream. While I was sitting there trying to figure it all out, I began to scratch an itch on my back. Like all itches, no matter where I scratched, it was always an inch lower than where I scratched. I kept stretching harder, reaching farther down my back, trying to get the itch. All of a sudden, I realized I had stretched my arm so far that I was scratching the back of my knee. I quickly brought my arm back in front of me, and it was 1.5 feet longer than my left arm. I was frightened and wished it was the same size as my left arm. Instantly, it shrunk back to its original size. I couldn't believe it. I wished it was longer again, and it grew and grew until I thought it should stop. And it stopped. As soon as I thought it should be smaller, it started shrinking. It was a really weird feeling, but it was kind of fun. I wondered if this was what the shape meant when it said I could do anything. I wondered what do anything meant. I decided to experiment because I didn't know how long this ability would last, and I wanted to get the most out of it. I sat up and stretched my arms across the living room, through the dining room, and around the kitchen corner to the refrigerator. I felt around blindly, trying to find the refrigerator handle so I could get some juice. While I was trying to find the handle, I was thinking it was great to be able to stretch so far, but I wish I could see what I was doing around the corner. Just as I thought that, the kitchen wall grew hazy, and I saw right through it. Incredible! I could stretch my arms and see through walls? What else could I do? I thought if I could do anything, could that mean anything I could possibly think of? I looked around the living room, deciding what to try next. When I saw the fish tank, I got excited. My living room looked real fuzzy through the glass. At first, it was real frightening, being underwater. I guess I was so used to breathing, I was nervous about being a fish. I explored all around the tank, slipping through the tall grass and hiding in the rock pile. It was very peaceful underwater because I couldn't hear any noise. I couldn't even hear my parrot squawking away. That thought gave me an idea. So I wished very hard that I was a parrot. And the next thing I knew, there I was on Kiddo's perch, watching him bob up and down looking at me. He said, "Hello," very softly. I said, "Hello, Kiddo," and he started to slide over closer to me. Usually I'm afraid he'll bite my finger, but now I didn't have any fingers, so I wasn't afraid. He slid over right next to me, and we rubbed our beaks together. He was real friendly, and I was having fun, but I was excited about seeing what else I could do. So I changed back to myself and thought about what happened so far and what else I might do. So far, I could change the shape of my body, see through walls, and become a fish or parrot. I guessed I could probably be any kind of animal I wanted to. I wondered if I could control anything else about my body. I closed my eyes and pictured my body getting lighter and lighter. When I opened my eyes, I was halfway between the floor and ceiling. This was really fun. I remembered that I could see through walls and, wondered if I could go through walls. I pressed my hand hard against the floor and reached down into my cousin's room. I pulled my hand back quick so I wouldn't scare her if she was there. She would have run out of the house screaming if she saw a hand coming through her ceiling. The next 15 minutes were wild. I tried everything I could think of doing to find out what I couldn't do. I was sure anything couldn't really mean anything. There must be something I can't do. But everything I thought of doing, I did. I held my breath, and it didn't matter. I picked up my piano with one hand. I memorized a dictionary in 1 minute, without even trying too hard. I flew around my living room. I wished I was in Disney World, and poof, there I was. I wished I was on the moon, and poof, I was looking at Earth. Standing on the moon, I looked out at the millions of stars I could see and wished I was at the end of the universe. Nothing happened. I got scared. Were my powers gone? Was I stuck on the moon? I quickly wished I was home, and with a sigh of relief, there I was in my living room. I figured maybe I couldn't go to the end of the universe because maybe there isn't one. I learned very quickly that moment on the moon that being able to do anything could really be a frightening experience if you let it be. It's been a couple of years now since I realized I could be anything or do anything, and believe me, I have taken advantage of it. I have traveled to all parts of the universe, even inside atoms. I have felt what it's like to be all kinds of living things, animals, birds, fish, and even plants. I have visited the minds and bodies of many people and seen what it's like to be them. The last few years have made me stretch my imagination every moment. Every time I thought I had done all there is to do, I thought a little harder and discovered something brand new. You'll never guess what my latest idea is. Go ahead, take a guess. Not that. Nope, not that. Give up? Okay, I'll tell you. I changed into a story about a girl who could do anything. That's right. You're reading me. Glad to meet you. I hope you had fun reading me. I know I had fun watching the expression on your face when you found out I'm the story you're reading. Read me again sometime, and bring a friend. It gets lonely in here. Oh, by the way, if you open this book someday and the words are missing, it's not a thief. It's probably just that I got bored and became something else. Bye-bye for now. Everyone. If everyone were just like you, in speech, in thought, in the way they grew, same eyes, same teeth, same hairs, same nose, same color, shape, same taste in clothes. If everyone were just like you, and liked the same toys that you do, and had the same 10 favorite songs, and knew the same ideas were wrong, and only liked one kind of book, one kind of game, one kind of cook, and wished the wish you were wishing for, and dreamed your dream from the night before. If everyone were just like you. Oh, how boring. One point of view. Hats. White hats and black hats. We all own a few. They're ready to wear each moment that's new. We all get to choose to pick the right one, to show how we think and what we've become. For all of our lives, we dress our own style, sometimes looking good, then bad for a while. White hats and black hats. We all own a few. The choice is all ours. Which one is for you?